Hello, and welcome back to the Lazy Susan Revolution podcast series, co-hosted by Sean, Mary, and Chris Hruz. Today we got a continuation, per se, of last week. Coronavirus, that's the only thing anyone's talking about lately. However, in the past week, it's probably hit its obviously most significant spike yet because it's an exponential growth. But I think this is the week for me where it's like, oh, that's not a total joke anymore.
No more memes.
You know, because, like, in our family, we were kind of just laughing about it. Like, everyone's just freaking out. But then, like, I started reading a few different things, and, like, wow, it's interesting. And to add on top of that, Webster, as well as many other St. Louis universities, have moved to online classes exclusively for at least until the beginning of April. So that was kind of out of nowhere, for me at least.
Yeah, it definitely is getting a lot realer now that it's here in our country, in our city. And Chris and I are on spring break this week, but there's been talk saying that spring break might have an indefinite ending because
spring break.
Yeah, our teachers all said bring your books home and we'll have all the work that you need to do online if it comes to that.
It's hard for high school because they're not really set up for that as much as universities are.
Yeah, no, I don't see online classes working very well for high school at all because, like, nobody's going to do anything.
Yeah.
We're all just going to be sleeping through all of it.
Yeah.
You have to graduate.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I don't think this is all going to last that long, but people are joking about virtual prom,
It's interesting the way you said it, which is kind of, it attests to the way that people are thinking about it. So you said, it seems like spring break might continue on forever. And that's the way people are thinking about it. They're like, oh, yay, extra time, when the schools are like, no, you have to take it just as seriously, just at home.
Yeah,
and
it's going to be so hard.
Yeah, I ran into a few people who, as soon as that announcement came out, they told their workplaces, yeah, I can work every day now. And then Webster came out and elaborated on that, and they said, you will have class at the same time, you just need to log in online, and you will have kind of like an open discussion.
Yeah.
Very cool techie stuff, but people are like, oh no, I already made plans.
Sitting in the Burger King drive-thru taking a math test.
Yeah, it's going to be so weird, because, like, yeah, you can, I don't know, I could be playing Overwatch during class or something like.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be able to get mad at you. Like, even if they see that you're not paying attention, there's like nothing they can do.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see how that first session of class is gonna go.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've heard it's different depending on where you are. St. Louis is just starting to kick up the panic mode. We're running out of stock of everything, just like everybody else, but we've heard from our brother Matt that it's pretty bad in Denver. He can't go to mass anymore.
Oh yeah,
He
knows no.
He hit up EWTN mass.
Oh yes,
yeah,
covered
on the TV.
Yeah, that's always the hardest thing. It's like drawing that line between, like, do we stop having mass to prevent outbreak, which seems like a reasonable thing to do, or
but
do we
it's mass.
continue to have mass because it's more important than, death or something like that?
I'm not sure.
It's not that, but I know the Pope got angry in Rome when they tried to decide that, and it's like, no, we're still having mass. I don't care that it's terrible, but now Italy and Spain are really bad. With there's the most cases, I think,
Spain
over there.
And Italy is terrible.
They put so much travel bans and whatever, so it's not even. You can still go to Europe, but it's not worth it because when you come back, you have to be self-quarantined for
14 days. Yeah.
14 days.
I thought it was 4 days before you show symptoms. I think so. I watched a lengthy interview on the Joe Rogan podcast Experience.
Ooh.
He was talking to just a guy from the CDC. And I learned a lot of interesting things that helped kind of solidify all the weird misinformation that you hear everywhere. So it is contagious before you show symptoms, but usually that time period is about 4 days. But it could still spread a lot then. And the concern isn't really about the number of people who can die to it. It's more about, like, very quickly, a bunch of people could be hospitalized, and they stop going to work, and then the people who have other diseases, or, like, say somebody has a heart attack, they go to the hospital, there's no room for them.
Yeah.
They just have to die. It's a really hard thing to consider, but
our society is not ready for something like this.
Yeah.
Plus, it's an unknown disease, so they're rushing for vaccines
and
test kits and all of that. So,
and it's probably going to be a while before anything like that is ready. And just the pace that it grows, it'll, in the words of the guy on that podcast, he said this is still just the beginning of it. So.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so with all of this going around, it's possible that we could be at home for long periods of time. So what are we going to do with all that time?
Yeah, we were talking yesterday as we were chilling, doing nothing, that because, okay, so here's it's a compounded problem. So we're stuck at home, but normally when people are at home, they sit back and they watch the sports game. But the sport games, they're gone.
Are not there.
So things are dropping like flies, so now we have to go back to our primal instincts of entertainment.
Yes, we have to look at each other and talk to each other.
We have to talk to each other.
What?
And you came up with a great idea of performing a nightly skit for the parents, which I got a kick out of. We may or may not do that, but I don't know. There's something about it that, despite how bad it is interesting because it's something different. Maybe families will get brought back together.
Yeah, or torn apart. We'll see.
Or torn apart. But.
Yeah, probably all of the above.
But it's more time with people you might not have hung out with before. Like, I don't know. You're forced to change your routine.
Yeah. And you also said something like the other day. It's like the introvert's dream. It's like, oh no, all my plans are canceled. Better stay at home.
Yeah, all my plans are canceled. I'm not allowed to leave my house.
Whoa.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll get to that everybody can't leave their house, but like.
No, but there's nothing to do outside of home.
But a lot of states have put, especially in Missouri, the 250 or more. You can't have more than 250 or more people in one confined space because that's illegal because of this coronavirus and whatever. So I had an interesting day at school on Friday because of that. Because we were celebrating our state hockey team that won state on this past Wednesday at Enterprise, which they didn't have the thing there, so everybody is at Enterprise, being like, because like sports and whatever, and throwing up the idea of no fans, and then they cancel everything else and whatever. So we had a whole bunch of people at Enterprise. Before that even happened, they won state, whatever, and then we were gonna have this pep rally on Friday to celebrate the hockey team.
Yeah.
But then like the decree or whatever.
The decree shall be.
From the governor is saying you can't have more than 250 people, and us Vianney being 600 gathering for this pep rally. They just, I mean, it wasn't supposed to go into effect until after the school day.
Right.
But, like, they thought that it was a better idea to just cancel the pep rally, so it's kind of, like, weird. They were like, yeah, so no pep rally because of this, and we're gonna have some doctor who was an alum who graduated from Vianney talk to you about coronavirus, and then you can just leave. And it was like 2:15 or whatever, and I had to stay for track practice and be like, okay. So I was there really early, and I have to wait for Mary to be done because she practices with Corey is there as well. Mm-hmm. So we had practice and whatever, and it's just weird. And then they came on before and it was like, guys, coronavirus is not a joke. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
And throwing up the idea of online class. And it seems like the vibe is that everybody's like, yay, online classes!
Yeah.
Don't have to go to school. But then the president was like, yeah, you guys are going to get 6 to 8 hours worth of work just online.
Yeah, it's a nightmare.
So But they put the positive spin on it, being like, "Hey, it's gonna prepare you for college because
always an optimistic one."
And it's like,
Ouch.
yeah, because all the colleges now have to go online.
Yeah, it's weird that in most situations, when a disease comes up, it affects life, like day-to-day life, but usually we recover really fast. But with this, it seems to be taking like a significant bite out of everyone's lives.
Yeah.
It's gonna go down in the history books. 2020. Oh, that was that year that the second half of the year just didn't happen really.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mary about this. Like in 5 years, you'll look at the history. Like kids will be studying 2020 coronavirus and all of these. And I always make the joke that the government will go into a recession, but I don't think that'll actually happen because they're actually fluctuating about normal and not going way down into the ground. But it also doesn't make any sense why everybody's frantically going to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not to get too deeply, we don't want to make this what is it called, like a finances podcast, but a lot of that is a lot of our economy comes from the Chinese economy. Like when they do well, we do well. And so we're kind of, it's weird. All the countries are following the same growth pattern, like growth rate. We're just at different stages.
Exactly.
So we've already kind of taken a hit from China slowing down, and then now we're slowing down, and it'll be weird.
It'll all bounce back.
Right.
Humans are good at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but China's figuring it out because their cases are going down, so they obviously are doing something right, and the other countries are following.
Well, they are doing a pretty good job of quarantining. Whether they're ethically doing that or not, I've heard they've kind of boarded people in. But the concern is that when they're like, okay, our numbers are going down, let's release the people back into the workforce to help the economy. It's just gonna come. It's gonna come right back up. So.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And I heard Japan. I haven't fact checked this, so I apologize. They had a reinfection case. Somebody who had gotten over the virus just got it again. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they're set to host the 2020 Olympics, and I've heard that they're still going to go through with that, but strict things about the numbers of fans and all of that. So I don't know how that's going to play out, but
yeah,
it's a weird thing. I don't have an elegant segue for this, so I'm just going to say, let's start talking about me.
We're tired of talking about this anyway.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
You can
talk about it. It's real.
It'll be here. We'll talk about it next week and the week after that. It'll be great.
Yep.
So yeah, okay, here's a segue. It's like I got all this time on my hands. I'm trying to figure out how to manage it in an efficient way. And I've kind of done a lot of research about different personality types and all those different things, trying to map my own mind, because sometimes that's a difficult thing for me to do. And I found that I'm the type of person who's surprisingly sporadic, and I have different I do different things each day, but then that also gets me into trouble because I don't know what to expect. So I'm trying to make some sort of schedule for myself.
A schedule of what you're going to be excited about every day.
Yeah, it sounds stupid, but I feel like it would do me some good to have some sort of kind of structure or order to my day. And that's all I have right now. I'm trying to figure out how people actually schedule things. So I'm curious to see if any of you two make a schedule and stick to it, or do you just kind of go by ear?
I'm not if something big is happening in the day, I'm either going to a friend's house or friends are coming over here, then I plan around that type thing. But if it's a normal day, I just kind of do the day, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think it helps when you're in high school because your day is kind of set for you.
Yeah.
It gets really weird when you get a bunch of free time. It's you can do whatever you want today, and you think it'd be great, but it's eventually eats away at you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I don't consider myself a very organized person.
Really?
No.
I would consider you decently organized.
Or maybe, I don't know, it's just comparison to the CJ girl stereotype, which is true.
Oh.
It is a true stereotype, unfortunately. But I don't know. I'm organized in my own way, but like it's not really visible on the outside. I don't know. But I do have a bullet journal, and that sort of helps. It makes me feel like I'm organized, even though I'm not, because I don't actually put anything in there. I
Yeah.
just kind of journal in it, sort of.
Yeah, so okay, journals. They always confuse me because I overthink some things.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know whether my journal should be a bullety journal of things to do or like a diary type talk about what you're thinking about. So then I get confused and I actually have two journals. I have like, this is the bullet journal and this is the idea journal, and is that okay or is that just being crazy?
I mean, it's up to you. It's how you like to organize your thoughts. My bullet journal, I did not make myself. One of my good friends made it for me.
That's right.
So it's got like your average, like there's a page for each month that has like the calendar on it and like a to-do list for the month and like your best memories from the month, and then there's like room on each day to write stuff down. And what I use that for is just kind of like recap, like what are like 3 things that happened that day, or what I use it for is like a gratitude journal, if you've heard that before.
I have not.
They say that it helps your kind of mental focus by keeping a positive outlook by writing down a positive thing or like something you're thankful for each day.
Yeah.
So like even if you have a really bad day, you can look back and see like one thing that you were thankful for
Find
that
the
day.
good in every day.
Exactly. Yeah, so I've been doing that every day, and it's kind of nice because like once you can like look back on other days in the month and just see like, oh, these are things that I probably would have forgotten. Like, you know, just like random little snapshots that like you're not going to remember.
Yeah, that is big.
A couple days away.
I feel like I'm a forgetful person, and the saddest part of that is sometimes I forget like my good days.
Yeah.
So then I think that I'm being like a bum that doesn't get anything done, and then people are like, no, you did all this stuff. I'm like,
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Like,
So it might be
Oof.
to keep yourself on track, like depending on like where you like make a goal of where you want to see yourself in 1 week and write down each step you took to get there.
So that's where it gets really hard, and I'm glad you asked that, or like you mentioned that. Like, I always want to create goals for myself because I think that'd be great because I feel like I could get somewhere, but then I don't know what I want really. I don't really. It's hard for me to create a goal, and furthermore, even if I do, the next day I feel like I don't really care about that anymore. You know, it's like. Or like, I want to make a goal of becoming good at blank, like building some sort of skill, and then a few days later I'm like,
Well, you might want to rethink your goals then. If you're thinking like just work-centered goals, or like you're talking about skills, like physical things that you're doing, like you can have really dumb-sounding goals that have really good, like
give me
outcomes.
An example.
So you could make a goal of, I don't know. Well, I think you already have this, like with Olivia, like say one nice thing to Olivia every day, or like 3 nice things before 5 o'clock, or like make a healthy dinner.
Oh, okay. I see. Like,
or have a positive outlook today, or like, I don't know.
Okay, less tactical. Like,
Yeah, because then. Yeah, they're less tangible, so it's hard for you to see the outcome of your goal, but if you're keeping track in your journal of steps you're taking towards that goal, then you can kind of decide if you've made progress, at least.
Okay.
What do you think, Chris?
I'm not a big journal person. I don't like to write stuff down.
To be honest, I don't either, but this is training me.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people that do it and found the benefits of doing it, but I just haven't gotten into it. It's not really something that I've thought about doing, but like that's just me. I'm not dissing on the people that dissing on journals because I feel like it's a really good idea, but I don't think that's how my brain works.
Do you have an alternative method to keeping positive on the day-to-day than journaling? Because a lot of people might not like journaling.
Well, the thing I've found that I keep on doing is what are you doing? Okay, whatever. But the thing that I found that I've done a lot is I spend a lot of time outside in like the backyard or front yard.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, there's
The Hruz thing.
There's times where it's just like a dead part of the day where like either mom's at work or you guys are doing whatever, and I just go outside, pick up the basketball and shoot around a little bit, just like aimlessly shooting or whatever, and do a lot of like listening to music outside, like walking down on that wall down there.
Yeah,
and
the wall.
It's self-reflecting time.
Yeah, so I listen a lot of music to like, one, pass the time, and two, to like
unravel from the day.
Make me feel happier.
Yeah, no, I get that. That makes a lot of sense.
So instead of like writing something down, I just do something that I love, either basketball or listen to music, and sometimes it's different. Like, there's a lot of times where I like shuffle through music and stuff, whatever, and listen to it for sometimes like hours, but other times there's been times where I've gone in and out and whatever.
No, I feel that. I do that too.
So being outside's a great place to be.
I underrate that a lot. Like, I always go outside and I'm like, wow, that was a good idea. But then I never do it because I never like think of it. I don't know. I go for walks a lot. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Walks.
That's a good thing.
Walks are good.
Yeah, that's where I started, was like the just kind of pace on the wall, just kind of reflect on life. And I'm also in the same boat as you, where like I can't just like, people have like diary journals where they just write down all of their thoughts.
I can't do that.
But I hate that. Like, I'm good at writing, but I hate writing. And it just bothers me to be able to, like, to have to write down all of my thoughts, and I don't really want to read that later because it's cringy,
Right.
So I like to find my little medium of writing down words instead of sentences.
8th grade me. Dear diary.
Dear diary, I am so angry at my parents and life, and oh my gosh.
Like, I also have ideas that, like, while on the wall, because I feel like we're on the wall and
we fight over the wall.
Yeah.
Like
subconsciously.
Walk out and be like,
I'll be on the wall and I'll see you open the door, look at me, and then go back outside. But I do the same thing.
Like, I see you and like Oliver doing like stuff. I'm like, not
not
the
a good
right
time.
time. But like, what I was gonna say is like, I have a lot of ideas. Like, sometimes I listen to like movie soundtracks if it ever pops into my head or whatever, and like I have great ideas for like stories to write, and like probably stories that have already existed or whatever, but
they're your own.
But
so,
and I've thought about writing those down or whatever, but that's
I'm really curious about that, because that makes almost all of us, like, I think, like, it's something weird that we as Hruzes have in common. It's like walking outside on a wall thinking of stories.
Yes.
Because
that's what I do.
Yeah, you said you've done that, and I'm like, oh, I do that too. You do that, and then I think, sorry to call you out, Meg, but I feel like I think you said you've done something similar to that.
I've never seen Matt walk on a wall.
Yeah, Matt's not a wall walker, I don't think. Dad's a pacer. I can hear him pacing upstairs now.
I'm wondering what...
Mom doesn't do it.
It's just this weird thing that, like, at least the 3 or 4 of us do. I just found this, I don't know, it's just more...
And it would be interesting to, like, hear from either, like, Lucas or Sarah or whatever, being, like... Because, obviously, they're not here now, but, like, if they still do it in their own...
Yeah, is that a common thing that just... a lot lot of people do and we don't know about and we don't talk about, or is it like a weird
I feel like
characteristic?
And if I'm in like, if I don't have the wall to walk on, like if I'm in like on vacation or in another place, like usually I'll find a place like up north at Grandma's house. Where do I walk? In the driveway around the circle.
Yeah. I walk down the driveway and back.
And even in like other random like vacations, I'll just find a little spot, and I don't know, I wonder if like as I grow up, will that stay with me? Like will I kind of go crazy if I am not able to have that space to think?
I would say at least to some degree, yes, because I still do that, and I know, I think Meg says she does that a little bit or something like that. Like, I think you keep those traits, yeah, and like I will always pace, and sometimes I sit and I ponder and I think stories,
I can't
but
sit. I can't even sit when I'm talking on the phone.
Oh yeah, well yeah. So like
Yeah,
I will sit down and I will dial it, and then as soon as they say hello, I just stand up and start walking.
Anxiety, and then just go.
Oh hi, I'd love to talk right now.
Do you guys do the thing where you try and get up as high as you can?
While talking
What?
on the phone?
I will start to stand on tables when I talk on the phone. I don't know why. I will like stand on chairs.
I stand on the couch when I'm talking to people.
This is like you're trying to get a cell tower or whatever. Like, yeah, I love to talk.
I heard a story. It doesn't sound true, but it's funny. That when you walk around when you're on the phone, it's because you're trying to find the voice. Like you there's no one around and you're trying to find them because you can hear them, and you're like looking everywhere for this person you're talking to.
I don't know.
That's
I don't know if I believe
weird.
that because I
I don't either, but
do circles in the living room, so it's not like they're not going to be in the living room. I know that.
yeah.
But that's a good
Unless
thought.
You know where they're calling from, and then it's
So then if
like-
we're pacing it while we think of stories, what are we looking for in that case?
Well, yeah, that's the. Okay, so I was going to talk about that.
Are we
'Cause
looking for something?
you kept saying like there's always a place. It's tied to like the place, either being in the backyard or being in that special place at grandma's house that triggers these certain thoughts. And I definitely feel this with up north.
Yeah.
At grandma's place, like a different genre of thoughts are always provoked than when I'm in St. Louis. It's really weird. Like I feel
Yeah.
more creative when I'm up north.
Yeah, it's
I don't know why.
the whole city country type thing.
It's the air.
It's more pure.
No,
Yeah.
Untapped.
The interesting thing with me is that usually, like, in the same span of time, like, say, like, 2 or 3 months, I have, like, the same story that I'm thinking about in my
Yeah.
head.
I
But
do
if
that
I'm
too, a little
in a
bit.
different place, it'll be the same story, but with slightly different details. Like, names will be changed, and, like,
That's
people
super
will look
weird.
a little different. But then when they come
I-
back, they go back.
I've not experienced that. That's
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
It is strange. Like, I can't even remember what the original story is. It just starts
Oh.
to rewrite itself the longer I stay.
Yeah, that's not
That's-
something I relate to. I usually have an entirely different subset of thoughts that disappear when I leave the place. It's kind of
Interesting.
strange because like I think about stories a lot, but oftentimes I think about, man, I don't know, like I'm still a game designing nerd, and I think about game mechanics, if that
practical
makes sense.
things.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, my thoughts don't usually have a end to them. Not like
Yeah.
not like a real goal. It's just kind of
Yeah,
don't
exist.
yeah, it's fun.
But yeah, it's. I think we've realized that we all do the same things.
Same little ticks.
To an extent, and I mean that's the foundations of like writing novels and stuff, movies, all of that, games.
Yeah.
To like, guy has an idea or girl has an idea, and they put it on paper, put it on the screen, and people enjoy it. So it's kind of getting to the time here where we're gonna close here, and we're gonna see you guys next week. I hear that Megan Lucas might be coming in
That's
town
right.
Woot woot.
next week because of the whole coronavirus thing. They can't go on their trip to Mississippi,
The one plus to
and which is sad, boo. But now they get to come here for a week.
Yay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, might be seeing them in the studio next week, but until then, we're gonna sign off, and I hope you guys have a great week if you guys are on spring break, and happy St. Patrick's Day this Tuesday.
Hey.
Bye.
Bye-bye.